go for it. So first we'll be doing the implementation part, then we'll be going to the management part, and then the monitoring part on the last area. All right. So let's start with the. So this is all about the TOC for the next 5 days. So let us start with the introduction and understanding about the whole solution. Let us understand the Azure first. Okay. Yeah. So what is Azure? What is the platform used for? If I want to put it in a very simple word, what is the use of this Azure platform, and why are we learning about this? That is the first question that I would really ask to understand, or really want to understand this. Azure, what exactly is this? Hope my screen is visible. Yeah. So guys, let's make this session an interactive one. It's not a college session where I'm just teaching, or we are. So it's again not an academic training. It's a corporate training. We are trying to learn the things, and we are going to deploy this in our real-time environment on our projects. Okay. So when we are dealing with projects, there are a lot of things which are getting involved. Okay. There are no more your college assignments, nothing like that. These are real-time stuff. So if anything goes wrong, it's going to impact the business, the productivity. So let us understand the terms. Yeah. So we were talking about Azure. What exactly is this Azure? Can I say it's a platform or it's a product, right? I can call it as a product, right? So it is made up of Microsoft. It is being provided by whom? By the Microsoft. Now, what technology has been used by Azure? So if we talk about Azure, what technology has been used over here? Guys, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
what technology we are using over here? It is the cloud computing, right? I feel like I'm missing. So guys, you need to say yes, no, okay. So when I say cloud computing, so whether it is there or not there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So when we talk about this cloud computing, can anyone define what exactly is cloud computing in one single word?
Pay as you go.
Okay.
On-demand availability.
Okay. What else?
Sha- Shared computing resources via internet.
Shared computing resource. Who's that?
Over internet.
Abhishek. Okay. Over internet. Very good. What else? So pay as you go. Then shared computing resource. Okay. Over the internet. Okay. Very good. What else? What else you can define cloud computing? So cloud computing is basically a metaphor, or it's another word for something called as data center. Okay. So we are using data center in the background. Okay. And these data centers, what do they have? So they have infra. Okay. So they have this, 42 euro EU rack servers. Okay. So the servers, they have, a set of servers or a set of, hardware. So this hardware consists of your RAM, processor, and hard disk. Okay. Now, whenever we talk about this data center, what exactly is happening? So there are thousands of racks which are available. There is not one single rack, but there are thousands of racks. And depending on the area and the size of the data center, so the whole, infra is being kept over there. So the concept is very simple. It's like, it's like if you organization normally what they used to do is whenever they used to have projects. So I'm talking about, before the traditional. So it's like a traditional computing. So in the traditional computing, so whenever there was a project which was coming up, organization, they used to, come up with machines. Okay, they need to procure machines. Okay, so whenever the project has been decided or whenever the organization is going for a project, so there are two types of costs which are getting involved in that. One is which is related to your, infra or, servers and all, or the cost of machines and all, which is called as capex. Okay, so one is the capex, and second one was the opex. So these are the two costs which are coming up whenever the organization is planning for any kind of project. Okay, capex is where we are dealing with the capital expenditure. Opex is where we are dealing with the operational expenditure. So the example of capex is, all your procurement of machines, licenses, devices, all these are being considered under the capex. Opex, on the other hand, is basically where the operational part comes into picture. Operation as in now you guys. So let's say whenever the project is in, so you guys have been up, deployed over there for the project or for the development or for kind of activities. So your salary, the maintenance, all those things which are coming up, the admin costs and all, they are the operational expenditure. So the support part and all. So this any project, has this two kind of, implementation or costing. Now, what is happening? Irrespective what organization you're working, so whether it's a, it's a tier one organization, it's an OEM, or it's a, a small business. Okay, wherever you are having or whatever project you're coming up with, or whatever sector it is. Okay, every organization or sector is planning for only one thing. They want to cut down on the capex, and they want to cut down, on the opex also. The majority of the part comes on the capex part, because where they want to, go for less resources. The reason why they want to go for a less resources or they want to look out for cutting down the cost is because, see, now project, when you talk about the projects are nothing but the customer's requirement. So the customer requirement can be for 3 months, it can be for, 1 year, it can be for 3 years, it can be for 10 years also, depending on the contract and the agreement which is happening with the client and the, service provider. This thing, what is customer and the service provider. So if it is for 10 years, the capex is okay. The investment of capex is good. But if it is for 3 months, or it is for only 1 year, and the organization needs to implement the same capex, which they need to implement for 10 years, then it's a challenging part. Sorry. The reason is, So the reason is because after 3 months, the resource which we are going to, procure, they are useless. It is totally, it's waste of money. So in order to get a proper IOI, organizations, they started looking out for solutions. And one of the solution which came up in the early 2008, especially after this economic crisis, was your cloud computing. So cloud computing, it's not something new, which just suddenly started out of the blue. It was already been implemented and used by organizations like Amazon and all, you're using for AWS. So in the early days, what they do, so what exactly is cloud computer doing? Cloud computing is all about, it's like leasing. Okay. So it's like a utility. So I will give you an example of, we can set it over here, like electricity. Now, electricity that we are using is like a utility. So I'm not concerned about how electricity is made or how it has been distributed and how it is reaching to my place. What I'm concerned is like whenever I plug in anything and if I click on, turn on the switch, my laptop should charge or my, mobile should charge or my, the whatever devices, appliances are, it should run properly. That is what I'm concerned. And based on my usage, I'm paying for it. The company has a unit, the company has a charge. They are charging me based on the unit, based on the type of electricity I'm having, whether it's a one phase, three phase, two phase, or whatever components they are setting up. And based on that standard, I'm paying them. So I'm not concerned about how whether there is a coal which is being used in the background to generate it, or thermal power, or hydroelectric, or it's a nuclear or whatever it is, sun, solar. For me, it's electricity. So the same thing is happening with the organization. So cloud computing is giving the same platform to the organization, okay, to the companies, stating that you don't worry about the whole infra, okay. So there's no challenge over here. What organization they can do is they can just concentrate on their work, okay. So what they can do is they can concentrate on their roles. So whether it's a banking sector, whether it's a automobile, whether it's a manufacturing, real estate, whatever sector it is, so they can concentrate on their work, and the rest of the things will be taken care by by this cloud computing, okay. So cloud computing is like an utility, and that is the reason we have. So what exactly is the whole term? So it provides you as a platform where you can access the whole service over the internet. That's what shared computing resource over the internet is. So what it is doing, it is providing us the whole platform using UI, their own UI, like any kind of portal or something, and you can go and you can subscribe those services and you can start using it. Okay. So whether it is on the development path, whether it's on the infrastructure, whether it is on the any. So depending on that. Okay. So that's how cloud computing works. The offerings are IaaS, then we have the PaaS, and then we have the SaaS. So these are the offerings which are coming up. There is one more which is called as DaaS, desktop as a service. But anyway, that is more of a VDI environment. Yeah. So these are the three things that we are having. IaaS is infra as a service. PaaS is platform. And then we have SaaS. SaaS is software. Okay. So these are the terms that we are using. Now, what are the offerings by Azure? Azure offers you these two platforms, so, IaaS and SaaS. Okay. So in infra, you are building the infra. Okay. And in platform, you are having the platform on which you can run up your solutions. You can, host the solution. You need not, think about the infrastructure part. Clear, guys? So this is how the cloud computing, and this is where. So cloud computing is a technology, and Azure is a product. So how we have, GPS. GPS is a technology, okay, and then Google Map is a product. Similarly, cloud computing is a technology, and then Azure is a product. Apart from that, there are many OEMs. We have Azure, we have GCP, we have AWS. Then there are private players like Zscaler, okay, NetMagic, and all. Control-S, WebWorks. There are a lot of private players, small and big, SIFI, so which are into this market. Okay. All right. So this was about the cloud area. Now, what are the working methodology of cloud? So this was on the range on what kind of services. So when you talk about the cloud methodology or working area, so it has three different levels. Okay. Or you can say three types which are there. One is private, or you can say public. You can start with public. Then we have private, and then we have hybrid. Okay, public, private, and hybrid. So these are the three levels that we are having. When you talk about public, so public is basically like we are using the service, so like Azure and all. So this will be managed by the service provider. Okay, whatever services you're hosting, and it will be a multi-tenant. Okay, so it's a multi-tenant. multi-tenant stuff, and it would be totally managed by the, by whatever service you're using, so Azure, AWS, and all. Private, on the other hand, is it's something where it's more concerned on the security. Okay, so those organizations who are having a very strong security and compliance stuff, like banking sectors and all, so they go for private where everything is being managed by them. So they are taking care of the service. The only thing is the space has been provided, and they have their own set of service. So this is expensive one as compared to public. Hybrid, on the other hand, is where we are trying to target both on premises as well as cloud. Okay, so whenever we are dealing with infra, so there are two things which are coming. One is on premises and one is cloud. Earlier it was only on premises, but since last 5-6 years, since the cloud computing started booming, okay, so we have hybrid structure where organization, they want to go for on premises as well as on the cloud basis. So in that scenario, we have this hybrid. Okay, so it has the benefit of both on premises and cloud. Okay, so that's the that's the part of the how the working is happening. What is the range of that cloud area? Clear, guys? Any questions till now?
No.
Okay. So guys, one request from my end. I told you this is a what do you call it as online session, and to be very frank, whatever sessions I have delivered, have been delivering, I like to keep it interactive. Okay, really. So because see, if I cannot feel or understand the things, if you whether you're understanding or not. Okay, so you need to come up. I would be asking you a lot of questions. Try to answer it. Okay, you can come up with your questions, and let's make it interactive. Just don't try to just sit over there, because that won't really help. Organization is investing on you, so just try to get into the understanding part. Okay. All right. Now, as an engineer, okay, so you know what role you're going to work on, right? You are aware about it. What kind of projects? Anything about that? What kind of projects you're going to work, or what is the role, or what is the thing that is going to be provided? Anything about that?
Yeah, we have been allocated to our departments.
Mhm. So, what is that department?
It's there are people from technical and operations engineering. There is health intelligence. Someone else can help.
Okay.
Yeah, we have security also.
Security with respect to cloud.
Don't know yet, but I'm assigned to application security. So
Great. Application security.
The
yep.
migrations part on-prem to cloud.
To whom? Lakshya.
Like, yeah,
On-prem to cloud. Yeah. Great. Fantastic.
Enterprise software development. Like I'm from the enterprise software department.
Great. Great. So I think it's a mixture. It's not something where all of you are sitting in the same bucket, right? You all are having
Yeah.
different projects. Okay, that's fantastic. See, one thing I will tell you, like you have been into training for last 15 days. There's a huge difference between what you have learned in your academic and what you're going to learn in your corporate training. So corporate training is more of like a concept rather than just understanding. See, to be very frank, today we are living in a world of information where everything is available. So I can give you this TOC, and you can just go and YouTube or Google, and you can just start working on it. But what's the point of giving you this whole training? The point is to make you understand about the concept. So for example, let's say Laksh is trying to deal with or is going to work on a project like moving data from on-prem to cloud. So in that scenario, he needs to understand what are the different solutions which are there on-prem. Because if I want to move something from one location to another, I need to understand what I'm going to move and how I'm going to move and where I'm going to move. So if I'm going to move it on cloud, what are the different solutions which are helping me to, provide the same? Because see, for customer, it's like, for them, it's a simple thing that their application or their solution should be working. That's it. They are not even bothered about whether you are putting it on cloud or whether you're putting it on premises or what. So for them, it's like if they are starting there, executing their service, if they are turning on their system, it should run. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. So who is going to take the whole, understanding part or whole pain is you guys or the whole process. So it's very important for us to understand the concept. Okay. All right. So let's move ahead. I think this is clear. Now, this is very simple. It's a basic stuff that we are knowing it. Okay. And we are using it on a daily basis. Now, what are the offerings of Azure? Okay. Let's understand that. Yes. Any idea what are the different offerings by Azure? Now we understood that Azure is a platform. We have this area. So what are the different services which have been offered? Or let us first start with understanding on-premises. Yeah. Now we understood what is Azure. Now the question is why Azure? Okay. Why Azure? So we know that it's a pay-as-you-go and it provides you the service, but why only Azure? There are various other services like AWS, there are GCP. So if the client is coming you and asking you, okay, that Laksh or Abhishek stating that, so Abhishek is saying, okay, you can go with Azure for this solution. Okay, so the client is asking for an application development or some kind of web hosting part or web app services. Abhishek is pitching about Azure. Now the client is coming and asking, okay, Abhishek, I can do the same thing via AWS or I can go with GCP. Why should I go with Azure? So what are you going to answer over that? Let me ask to Dave. Yeah,
I could say like Azure has good facilities. It has something like Azure Marketplace where you
that's
can
available in AWS also.
um,
Actually, I
okay.
think so. The difference lies in the payment model of three clouds. Like GCP offers pay per second billing, Azure offers pay per minute, I think so,
Mhm.
and AWS is little bit sometimes costly as compared to these two. Like it all depends upon the use case, like what we are going to deploy.
Okay. So
Maybe,
yeah, please go ahead.
maybe it supports clouds in a better way.
Like how?
Like we have all public, private, and hybrid clouds. So maybe AWS might lack in supporting few of the.
No, 1 minute. Public, private, and hybrid is on the cloud computing aspect. It's not on Azure aspect. Okay. So when I say IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, or public, private, hybrid, these are on cloud computing, which is on the technology front, not on the product front. Okay. So whether you go for Azure, whether you go for AWS, whether you go for GCP, or you go for any of the private players like CC, Control S, Zscaler, anyone, all of them are offering this in some or the other way, at least on the IaaS and PaaS.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason could be like, as far as Providence is concerned, majority of the projects work on Microsoft technologies. So like that could be a
So
reason.
where the ship's herd is going, the ship is also going, right?
Not exactly, but yeah, like on the Visual Studio itself, we have an option for exporting it to Azure directly and many things. So that could be a
Yeah.
reason, I guess.
Okay. So if you have used what do you call as Salesforce, or this thing what do you call as if you have used any other platforms, so they offer to go to their cloud. Okay. So you can go to their cloud, and they will direct it. That integration is something which will be there. So obviously, if someone is coming to your place, and you, let's say you have a car service center, you are selling the car, so you will be having a car service center. So if I am buying a car from your car service area, or from your area, or from your company, so you would say that we have a service center, and we can utilize our service center only. So that is a business, you know, that organization. See, this is what we need to understand, guys. So no matter how technical you're getting into, whether you are good at developing solution or not, you should be you should be able to convince the client. Why Azure? Because see, the client is very smart. They have the money. They will come and say that, Abhishek or Laksh, you are very good. You have the awesome knowledge about developing solutions. You can create solution within 1 hour. But for me, I'm more on the money part. So what is your Azure offering me, so that I should not go with the, AWS, or I should not go with the GCP? What is that which has been offered?
So on Azure website, it claims that it's 5 times cheaper than AWS.
Okay. Did you check in US dollar rate or Indian dollar rate? Indian rupee rate?
I don't know about the USD or Indian rupee, sorry, but yeah, I just checked their website.
Okay. So let me not dig it up more. Let me help you. See, when you talk about Azure, or any of the, this thing, what you call as solutions, okay, whether it's Azure or AWS, or, GCP, in any of them, see, they all are nothing but data centers in the background, right? So whatever service you're taking up, they all are actually running a data center. Now, when you talk about data center, so it's like, see, I will give you an example again. So now Harsh and Abhishek, they both are providing service. Okay, so this is related to car servicing. Okay, the reason I'm talking about car servicing and again, because I recently got my car service. So Harsh and Abhishek, they both are dealing with this car service. Now Harsh is having multiple branches across India, whereas Abhishek, Abhishek is having limited branches. It is only in the metro cities. So it is on the Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, in some of the metro cities. That's it. Whereas Harsh is having across pan India. It's there even in the remote location. Now let's say if I want to buy a service, if I want to go offer a service, which service I'm going to offer, Harsh or Abhishek? Obviously Harsh, right? Yes or no?
Probably depends upon the use case. Like, what is the purpose if I'm not going to any remote areas or something?
Harsh, I'm pitching you. Literally, I'm helping you to increase your business. So you are just moving away. I'm saying Harsh is the good option. You are just saying probably the use case, probably that. Okay. See, it for a customer, the use case is this. Like, see, when you're buying a car, the use case is that if anything goes wrong with my car, if there's a breakdown, there should be a service center nearby, right? So that
Yes.
I don't get into that towing and all those things. I should just make a call, and the person should be coming from the service center, and it should get repaired immediately, whatever it is, right? So for me as a car owner, the use case is the after sales service. Okay, so after the sales, what are the options, the sales option? So I will be looking out for a service provider who has multiple service center across pan India. Are you getting me? So I would be looking out for that. Now the same thing is happening with the customers. So whenever the customer is trying to procure for any of the cloud technology, what they try to look is they try to look out for, you know, the service, the support offering, or the proximity of that service. How near is that service? Whether that service is available in their region or not. Are you getting me? So this is what customers look. So whether they are, hosting their web apps, or whether they are developing the infra, or, moving their infra, or using that cloud as a DR, whatever it is, whatever use case they are having. So they would like to go for, and depending on the organization size, they would be, looking out for the area. So if the organization size is on, MNC level, where it is stretched across all the regions in EMEA, APAC, and America, so they would be looking for a service provider, or for a, OEM who has region, or who has it stretched across all this region. So tomorrow, let's say if Abhishek is flying from India, and he's been asked to work from America, so he should be able to use that service in America also. Similarly, if Harsh is going to UK, so Harsh should be able to use the thing in the UK, right? So that's the whole plan. That's the whole thing. So whenever the organization is buying or planning for any kind of product, or going for it, so there are multiple factors which have been coming into, in the decision area. One is the support. What is the support package? How the support has been provided? What is the after, service support, or after sales support which has been? Second is how, how easy is to for an organization to reach out to a data center. So let's say, for example, your organization is planning to move the data, lift and shift. So they are trying to migrate the thing from on-premises to, cloud. Now, this data which is there, they need to monitor. There are certain things which they need to do personally. They can't hand it over to the, public cloud. So in that scenario, that data center should be located nearby to the, branch office or the head office, so that the person can immediately, drive over there, and within a, duration of hour or 1 hour, he should be able, or she should be able to do the things. So that's the whole point. So proximity is another thing. The proximity of the whole data center is another thing. And apart from that, what are the offerings? Okay, so these are the considerations which have been taken care by, by any organ. See, it's a very simple thing. So if tomorrow, if I'm going to buy, if I'm opening an account in a bank, if I want to use a bank service, I would like to go for that bank service account which is nearby, my area, or which is within my area. So there is no point for me, to spend 500 rupees to deposit a 200 rupees cash, right? There's no point of doing that, right? So that same thing is happening with the organization. Okay. So it's very important. So these are the factors, deciding factors for the organization or for the customers to go for Azure, AWS, or GCP. Apart from that, rates and all these things. So that is okay. Everyone is providing some other rate. You know, this thing that when there's a different type of agreement which is happening with the enterprises. So let's say if you guys are going and procuring any service in Azure, so you would be going via portal, right? You would be going via the Azure portal, and you would be subscribing the services and paying. But when it comes to organization where the user base is very high, so where the count is around, let's say, 20,000, 30,000 users. So for them, there is an enterprise agreement, and there is a different set of process which is happening. So there is a Microsoft guy or that OEM guy which is coming up and dealing, and there are negotiations which are happening. So costing is something which has been taken care easily. So whether it's AWS, whether it is Azure, or whether it is your GCP, costing is not a big deal. What is a big deal is the service offering. So when we talk about Azure, so Azure has the maximum service offering over here with respect to data center. So they call it as region. So if you compare the Azure, AWS, and GCP, so Azure has a maximum region, which is around 60 plus. There are 60 plus regions. in which the data center is available, or 60 plus data centers where it is available. Clear, guys? How many? 60 plus. And if you compare it with AWS, it's hardly 24 or 23 plus, which is way less actually. So these are some of the things which we are targeting, guys, while we are choosing. So now we have understood that what is Azure and why Azure. Okay, why our organization will move for Azure. So this is one of the selling point for Azure. I'm not saying this is the only selling point, but yeah, if I'm a pre-sales guy, if I'm a solution architect, and if tomorrow, Anuja is coming and asking me, or Sneha is coming and asking me, Dave, why should I go for Azure? Why should I not go for AWS, or why should I not go for GCP? I would say that this is one of the things you can consider for for procuring the service. Rest you can you can do your Visual Studio on it's available. Visual Studio is anyway a part of Microsoft. That is one of the other selling point. But you can run your apps on AWS also. You can run your apps on GCP also. Everywhere it will. It's just a platform. It's like a space. So the space will be in it can be in any shape. You can just build anything over there. Doesn't matter. Okay. Clear, guys? This concept.
Dev,
Yeah, Abhishek.
Yes, Dev.
I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
So you
Why only
said,
4 branches?
so you said like for a client, they would like to have a support system which is available everywhere, right? So you said Azure has 60 plus regions where the data centers are, and AWS has about 24 plus, which is way less. Then why would someone anytime prefer AWS over Azure?
So if you ask me this question, I will tell you now that this depends on the sales guy. Okay, the way he is pitching or way they are pitching. Now, what has happened, I will tell you. AWS has a monopoly in Azure, in the cloud area. So AWS has started a long back when Azure, I think it was started around 2012, 2013. Okay, when it started moving, and there was a classic model and all. So when the duration of that 6 years or 7 years, so AWS acquired a lot of big giants, okay, within that duration. At the initial level, whenever the company, whenever an enterprise organization, they wanted to move on the AWS, on the cloud area, so AWS was something which was preferred. Now, what Microsoft did is, see, they have a very awesome, marketing way. Microsoft, I really like their, the marketing stuff. Okay, the way they handle the thing. So they actually provided a simple solution. What they did is, see, it's very simple. Like let's say you are utilizing something. You have some kind of products you have already bought it. Okay, so you have bought a product. Now, after investing on a product, normally the organization, they buy this product and it is there for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years of license. Okay, depending on type of license, whether they are going for a perpetual license or a subscription based license. So now the organization has already invested a lot in that license. Now again, if they want to go for a platform, it becomes very challenging for the organization. So what Microsoft does is, so they are targeting their already existing client. So they have a huge you know client base on Office 365 and M365. You're getting me? So what they did is they gradually targeted the first batch of M365, where they started moving, all those clients towards the cloud. And when we started offering the cloud, what they did is they moved their Active Directory services and they got something called as Azure AD. Okay. Now Azure AD is a part of Azure solution. So the best part is now the client is actually using two different platforms without even paying extra. Are you getting me? So if the same thing is happening with AWS, the AWS guys, they need to pay extra. Now the reason why a lot of organizations, they are still using AWS is, as I already mentioned, because there are multiple areas. There are certain services, there are certain offerings which are quite advanced and which are already available. So I'm not talking about S3. I'm not talking about the EC or this the machine solutions or your VPC. Okay, on the networking part, it's already there. What they are offering is like, so there are they are already existing customers. So they have their infra built, they have their existing stuff built. So they want to continue. They don't want to move the whole infra again to a new set of services. So in order to get these things, so they are just there. There are options now which are available where AWS is providing option for Azure access. Azure is providing option of AWS. So there are certain solutions which are built in that way that you can access the services on AWS via Azure. And same thing is happening on AWS also, where you can Azure the Azure related services via AWS. Okay, so both the things are there. Now the organization has started looking for something called as integration. Okay, because that is the client need. So client want to go. So there are many organizations you will find they will have multiple clouds. So that they are called as multi-cloud environment. So they will have Azure for certain services, they have AWS for certain services, and they have the even the GCP part also being used. So the many organization enterprise customers, they have started using multiple cloud depending on their requirement, depending on their ask. And there are various tools which have been used for that management. Okay.
Okay, Dev.
All right, guys, I think let's go for our first break. Okay. And we'll take it ahead. Shall we? Let's go for a first break. Let's go for a tea break now. 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's connect in next 15 to 20 minutes. It's 11:17. It's a very odd time, but yeah, you can calculate the max.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. So yeah, I hope all of you are back. Can you please turn on your cams? Yes, we got a kill. जल्दी आ गाड़ी में बैठ. सार्थक, सौरभ, भानु, लक्ष्य, Adyasha, Anuja, Fiza. Okay, disclaimer alert. I have a daughter, 18 months daughter. So if you hear A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the background, okay. So I'm not training anyone over here, but yeah, it's happening in the background. It's work from home. So can't help. She sits next to me. I cannot resist her. So I hope we already know, A, B, C, D and everything. So we should ignore that. Okay. Yeah. So she sits. She's like, she, it's raining heavily over here. You guys are based out where? In mostly from Andhra or Bangalore or anyone from North?
Yeah, Punjab.
Lakshya.
Yeah.
Okay. Anuja, Lakshya. Okay, you guys are from North.
Nalin is from Jammu.
From where?
Jammu.
Who is it?
Mujam, I'm audible.
Nalin. Yeah, Nalin. So how's the weather over there, Nalin?
Sorry, there was an issue with the mic. Yeah. So actually, it's
Yeah,
raining
no
heavily
problem.
right now.
It's okay.
It's raining heavily from the past one day, and I think it's gonna rain for 2-3 days as well. There's a rain alert in Jammu right now. Yeah.
Okay, great. I have my colleagues who are working over there right now. They are placed out over there.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, great. And most of them are, I think, anyone from Maharashtra side. I think Pune guys are from Maharashtra side. Okay. Yeah, it's raining heavily over here. In Maharashtra. Mumbai side. So I'm based out from Mumbai.
I'm from Mumbai as well.
Who is this?
This is Chitija.
Kshitija, where are you from? Like,
I'm from Churchgate, South Bombay.
oh, town.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from, not town, but yeah, suburbs, Thane.
Oh, I have friends in Thane.
Yeah, 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 great. I too have friends in Churchgate, but I don't talk to them.
Oh my, Churchgate people are really nice.
I know, I know. But they call, all those people who are outside town, they call it as gawalas.
No, we don't do that. Your friends seem a bit mean. We don't do that.
Yeah. So after Bandrano, everything is village.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, jokes apart, it's awesome. So I visit over now. It's raining heavily over there, right?
Yeah, it's
Kshitija?
really crazy.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, I don't know this power cut or anything is not happening till now. If it happens, let's see how we are going to connect. Great. What about Akhil? Akhil, where are you based out from? Home?
I'm from Hyderabad.
I thought you will say home. Okay. Great. So you guys, you got up this whole thing via, you applied it or it was campus interview? The job
Campus.
thing.
Campus placements.
Campus. Great. So did you apply it or they called up or they reached out to you in the campus?
We apply 300.
Okay, okay, great, great. That's great. All right. So let's continue where we were. So before going on break, we discussed about Azure. You can keep your cams on till for some time. It feels great, or else for me, like I'm talking to walls. So I like your smile, Abhishek.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. So now I
We
will
wish
give you
to
more.
see you as well.
I really want to, I wish to see myself also, but the wish cannot be complete right now. The challenge is, I have my daughter and everyone in my room. Okay. So the challenge is that, nothing else.
Yeah, we can
So
hear her.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, she said hi. So yeah, I will turn on the can. I will get her. Don't worry. In the last moment, so we'll say hi together. She will say hi to you guys. All right. So Azure developing solution or whatever solutions we are talking about. So it has some prerequisite, guys. Okay. I, so we are not saying that you guys need to have that prerequisite, but whatever technology you're going to learn, okay, further, everything has a prerequisite. What do you mean by prerequisite? Means you need to know certain areas. Okay. So like basics, fundamentals and all. Okay. Because this people that we are targeting, they are on, I won't say advanced level, but yeah, they are actually targeting something on the, intermediate part. Okay. Beginner as well as intermediate part. So you know that there are three levels: beginner, intermediate, and then we have the expert. So this is how the, the level goes up. Okay. So beginner is like the fundamental level. Intermediate is where you're dealing with the, functions, okay, the actual functions of that product. And then we have the advanced level. Now, what you guys need to understand is what are the different offerings in the Azure, okay, and how you can utilize it. That's it, nothing else. So you're already, developing codes, you're already working on that solution. So you have, see, let's say for example, if you want to develop a website, so what platform you're going to use, how you're going to develop it. So you're going to either use HTML or CSS or JavaScript or whatever it is, right? So you're going to apply this particular things, and then you would be able to take it up, right? Now, in order to run this whole process, in order to run the HTML, or in order to code that, we require a platform. So either you use Notepad or Notepad plus plus, or some other coding platform. Now the same thing is being offered by whom? By Azure. Are you getting me? So what Azure does is, Azure is saying that I would give you platform. Now a lot of people, they try to misjudge the whole technology. They think like Azure is some kind of magical tool which will do their job. Okay, which will do the coding, which will they need to just type that I want to build a web app, and the web app will be built automatically. It's not like that. Okay, so Azure is just a platform for you, or any of the cloud computing is just a platform. So I will give you an example. So let's say if you want to attain this session, okay, attain this training. So what you need to do is you need to either you need to have a space, right? Now that space can be your official space, or it can be your on home, okay, the work from home environment. What you require is a desk, a laptop, a internet connection, and a chair to, or whatever place you want to sit in, right? So this can be your official one, or it can be your personal space, your home or your room. Okay, so the same thing is happening with Azure or cloud area. So whatever we were doing on premises, the same thing, the same process, we are applying it on cloud. Clear? So let's say if you are developing, if you are using Visual Studio on premises, the same process we are applying it on cloud. The same process we are applying it on cloud. If you're using, if you're creating machines, if you're installing OS on, on your on premises area, on your machines, live machine, the same process you're doing it on cloud. So you're creating a VM, and in that you are applying or installing the operating system, the same process. So we are not doing anything. What we need to understand is what are the product offerings which are coming with Azure when we are talking about all this solution. Okay, so whenever we are dealing with infra, what are the different product offerings? Okay, now I have a question for you guys, if you can really help me with the answer. So let's say if I want to build an infra. Okay, I want to build an infra. So what are the things that I target over here?
Like target in the cloud environment.
Target in the cloud environment?
So virtual machines.
No, not. I'm not targeting the cloud environment. Any infra. So
So the resources we would be requiring.
yeah. So when you say infra, what are the components or what are the things I would be planning to develop? So let's say if you want to host a website, okay.
Mm.
So you require infra, right?
Mm.
So what are the infrastructure you would be targeting over there? Not
A,
with
ser-
cloud, not with anything, just an infra.
a server, internet connectivity.
A server, okay.
Yeah,
Network, internet as
network,
in network connectivity, okay.
network
Very
connectivity.
good. What else?
Security, uh,
Security,
we can say monitoring, uh, so that we can monitor it.
okay. Security, or like most of the monitoring aspect, okay. What else?
Hosting device.
Okay, now let's talk about server. Okay, now when we create a machine, so whenever we are creating machine, what are the components do we require to create a machine? We are talking about hardware. So what are the
Motherboard.
different, not into that level, but yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so what are the major components that we are targeting over here?
Like a processing unit.
Very good, guys.
Storage,
She's
Uh,
taking the lead
a
all the time.
storage,
Yeah.
a
device,
storage,
Storage,
RAM,
then I want all of you to participate, guys, please.
a GPU,
GPU, okay. Graphic processing unit, okay. So processor, GPU, or so if you're asking me what are the major components, I will say that there are three major components which are required for any kind of operating system to run. I'm not talking about motherboard and all, but these are the three major components. So one is your processor, second one is your hard disk, and third one is your RAM. Okay, processor, hard disk, and RAM. Now you will be saying, what about motherboard, Dave? What
other
about that?
days.
Yeah.
Just to confirm, you're not sharing the screen, right?
No, no, Akhil.
Okay.
We are not doing anything right now. We are just discussing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So it's a discussion which is going on, and understanding part. Okay. So after this, I would be sharing the PPT. I'm not a PPT guy. I don't like sharing PPTs because PPTs you can read it by yourself. So you would be like, Dave, I can read it. What is the point in sharing the PPT? The most important thing is understanding the concept. Okay, that is what I'm trying to do. Okay, so yeah, so these are the three components. Now, why these three components are important, guys? Any idea? So if let's say if you're installing a Windows operating system, even in that you require RAM, hard disk, and processor. If you are installing a Linux, even in that you require hard disk, processor, and RAM, or whatever platform you're using, a server, a client, anything, right? So whether you're hosting a solution, whether you're running a infra, anything, okay. So these three things are combined and they are called as computing power. What they are called as computing power. So this computing power is basically nothing but what? It's a service. Okay, it's a compute service. So whenever we are building a machine, we require this computing power, this compute power. Okay. So in Azure, there's a product called as compute. Okay. which is totally defined for, whenever you want to build any machine. So this is what we are using. That is the service called as compute. Okay. So there's a product called as compute, which takes care. So whenever you want to build any virtual machine, okay, so compute is the area where we can target. So there's a product name. So that's about the compute area. Now, what about the next? The next important thing in the infra is the network, right? Now, why do we require network? Or before that, we require, the next important thing could be the storage. So you have the machine, so you have the storage with it, you have hard disk in it, but you may require additional storage, right? So it can be for security reason, it can be for backup reason, it can be for any of the reason. Okay. So in that scenario, what you're going to do? What is the target you want? So storage is like a space. It's an external space which has been provided apart from your. So hard disk is also part of your storage. Apart from that, you can add multiple more disks. Okay. This can be any kind of disk. It can be your, a magnetic disk, or it can be an SSD. Okay. So that is the storage. So once you add the storage, once you're adding the storage, okay, what happens over there? So it becomes an additional resource within your infrastructure. It's an external resource, and we have talked about that how the 3-tier architecture is working, where we have front end, with middleware, and then we have the back end, right? So in the back end, normally you find the storage part, right? Now, what is the offering? What is the product offering of Azure with respect to storage? So with respect to storage, the product offering is called as, Azure Storage. So Azure Storage is a product offering with respect to storage part. Okay, Azure Storage. That is the second. Now we have created the infra, guys. We have the machines in place. We have the, storage in place. Now we need to have the connectivity, or we should have the connectivity in between the systems. So let's say if I have 5 VMs, I need to connect all the 5 VMs using a network. So I need a network. Okay, I need a network. Now there is some glitch over here. Glitch as in there is some twist. Now on the on-premises, when you're creating a network, okay, that network and the network which is built on the cloud is somewhat, you will find there would be a difference. Okay. Now see, they would be going with the fundamental of a network. What is the fundamental of network, guys? If I ask you network fundamental, what is it that? What could be the fundamental of network? Come on, guys, you had this network fundamentals in the first or second year.
Like physical layer.
Which layer?
Physical layer of the OSI model.
Right. So that is on the OSI part. What else? What is a very important concept in a network?
Protocols, like different kind of protocols.
Very good, Muskan. Protocols. Okay. Now, what are the different protocols that we are having? Yeah, Abhishek.
I was just saying IP address.
IP addresses. Okay. So when you talk about protocol, there are two sets of protocol. One is TCP and one is UDP. Okay. So this is very important. Let me share it on Notepad so that we can discuss it. I hope my Notepad is visible. So when we talk about TCP and when we talk about UDP, what's the difference between them? So
Connection oriented.
Yes. So whenever we are talking about protocol, there are two types of. For TCP, when you talk about TCP, it's like connection oriented. What do you mean by connection oriented? So connection oriented is where we are, like whenever I'm trying to target or send any, let's say I'm saying hi to Abhishek. So Abhishek is replying with hello. So that is connection oriented. Means the data packet which I have sent to Abhishek, he's replying and is acknowledging. That is connection oriented. Connectionless, on the other hand, is I'm saying hi to Abhishek. Abhishek is not answering anything, but still I'm, keeping the conversation on. Okay. So that is connectionless. So connection oriented and connectionless, these are the two areas. So connection oriented is where I'm getting the acknowledgement, where I'm getting to know, or whatever data packets I'm sending, it is being, acknowledged by the sender, also the receiver. And connectionless is where I'm not getting any acknowledgement from the receiver. Still, I'm trying to send the data packets. I'm not waiting for the acknowledgement over. So UDP mostly you will find it as a connectionless. Now, which is more reliable? Connectionless or connection oriented?
TCP.
TCP.
It
Connection
is
oriented.
very good. So it is more reliable. Okay. But TCP is more reliable. Reliable as in you can trust it. That means the data is reaching. If the acknowledgement is done, this is less reliable. Now, which will be more faster, TCP or UDP?
UDP.
UDP.
Okay. Why? Because here I'm not waiting for the acknowledgement. So in connection oriented, if the data packet there is no acknowledgement, that means the connection has not been established. Okay, and by the time till the time the packet is reaching and the acknowledgement is established, or there's a either there's an acceptance or there's a request timed out message not popping up on the till that time I need to wait. So the connection can be totally depends on the bandwidth and the response of the receiver. So it's not that faster. Okay, sometimes it becomes challenging, and that is the reason you might see those areas where such as video calling or something where the data packets needs to go on. Okay, so you will be seeing the UDP sets of protocol, whereas where the connection needs to be established, like example of this is like ping and all, or IP addresses, you will find the TCP used over there, where you're using such set of protocols, okay, for it. So IP address is very important concept, guys, in the network fundamentals. And whenever we are building any infra, IP address plays a vital role. What it does is it provides us the address. It's an address mechanism that we are using. So let's say when you're building a solution on cloud, the same infrastructure you're using, you're building an infrastructure, you're done with that. Now, what about the connectivity part? So as in cloud, everything is virtualized. The connectivity is also virtualized. So there is a product called as VNet. Okay, VNet for Azure. Okay, or VNet, which has been utilized in Azure. This VNet is actually developed, or Azure networking. There's a whole concept of Azure networking, which has this product of VNet, which is totally dedicated for connection, or for developing the connection between VMs and their resources. So let's say if you want to connect a storage and any of the VMs, or any of the systems within the Azure, so we use VNet over there. So what VNet does is provides the IP addresses. You can provide the IP addresses, and apart from that, you can provide the subnet mask. Okay, subnet mask, or you can use the concept of subnetting, where you are dividing the larger network into smaller area. And using the CIDR values and all, you can go ahead and provide the IP addresses in your procedure. Okay, so that's the product for infra or networking. So VNet is one of the product. It's a part of your Azure networking group. Okay, which has many other products like load balancing and all, network load balancing and all those things. So VNet is one of the parts which is totally dedicated for VM connection. Okay, so that is on the infra. So this is how your infrastructure is working. So whenever you're building an infra, okay, whenever you're trying to build an infra, so you require a machine, you require a storage, and you require a network. These are the three components that you are normally targeting, right? These are three major components that we are targeting in building the whole infrastructure. Now so if you're building the same infrastructure on cloud, so what are the services we'll be targeting for the under Azure part, guys? What are the different services we'll be targeting over here? So if I want to build a VM, what is the service that we'll be targeting?
Compute.
Compute, very good. And if we talk about network,
VNet.
and for storage,
Azure storage.
great, good. Okay. All right. So now you guys have understood what is Azure, why Azure, and what are the different products, some of the products, right? Now this, see Azure, I'm really sorry. So Azure has two offerings which have been provided. So it offers on IaaS as well as it offers on PaaS platform. Okay, what's the difference between IaaS and PaaS? If I ask you, what could be the difference between an IaaS platform and a PaaS platform? Yeah, IaaS and PaaS.
IaaS provides infrastructure such as storages,
Okay,
computational resources.
okay.
The things
So,
that PaaS provides platform
so
tools.
all these services that we talked about, it's a part of your IaaS, right? Compute, VNet, the products, and storage. Correct. So these are infrastructure. PaaS, on the other hand, is
Tools,
tools. Okay. So these tools are basically for what?
development,
Software development, application
development.
development.
Okay. Are you sure it's always for the development part?
Tools for anything, tools for deployment, tools for testing, everything. It
Yeah.
provides a platform to do anything.
Correct. So platform, as in, say, see what happens over here. So when, let's say, if I want to, the question that I asked you in a very, on the early stage while we were discussing about the infrastructure. So if I want to build the reason why I'm building an infrastructure, or if I want to host any website, let's say, so I need to have a server. So when I say server, it's a machine. It needs to have a set of, configuration of hardware. Then it needs to have an operating system on it, the licensing part, then the services which will help the, things to host like web, ADDS, DNS, DHCP, the IS services and all those things. And then I would be able to run the, or provide the web hosting thing. Now, as a developer, so let's say, if I'm a developer, as a developer, for me, my major task is to develop a solution, to test it, and that's it. Then get it live on the production. So I'm not concerned about, getting the infrastructure built from scratch, license handling, administration stuff, those are not my area. Okay. So in those scenario, PaaS, what it does, it provides us a platform. So Azure is providing a PaaS platform. So in that PaaS platform, what is happening? Azure says that, it tells you that instead of going and building the whole infra, we are providing you infra, and on that you can, run your tools. So it can be a Visual Studio, it can be your, GitHub, or web apps. You can host your web apps, you can run your web app solution, or anything that you want to host. Okay, rather than concentrating on building the, infrastructure. Clear? And let us take care of it. So that is the path for you guys. So platform as a service, if I give an example, so the best example I can give is the containers. Okay, containers is one of the example. The Docker, which is, which is a product. Okay, again, it's one of the best example which I can give. Apart from this, the Visual Studio, other services that you're using. Okay, all those areas. Then your storage. So storage comes partially in both the areas, but majorly it is categorized in the IaaS area. Okay, so types of storage, whether it's, what we're going to do, so the blob and all. So all these things are basically a part of it. Clear, guys? Now, have you heard about a term called as serverless? Serverless. What actually is serverless?
Maybe a piece of code that runs on demand. That means it doesn't require a server to continuously keep it running.
Who's this?
Akin.
Akhil. Okay. So when you say a piece of code, okay, then okay, so it's like one single instance that we are dedicating. or something like if I want to run one application, so it's a piece of code for one. So every time I want to run different application, there would be a different serverless stuff. Is it like that?
I'm not so sure about it, but yeah, I think it's something.
Okay. Any other, uh, you know,
Like pay as you go, like as much as I utilize, I'll pay that amount only for my application.
mhm. Pay as you go. Okay. What else? Any other? Don't go for Google. Okay. I know Google will give a very good answer. Okay, within few minutes or few seconds. But yeah, just try.
Um, might be serverless application. We can say that where we don't need any hardware, to be precise, and we can make like different functions accordingly.
So without hardware, how are you going to make functions?
Like on premise, it's not like
So if you want,
on.
if let's say if you want to stay, you need a home, right? You can't
Yeah.
stay in the sky till not till now.
Okay.
You need a space. So
Yes.
let me break this suspense. So serverless is basically it's a very simple concept today, which has been popularly used by a lot of organizations. So it's like I will tell you how. So let's say Laksh is it's having a garment industry, okay, or some kind of industry is having. Okay, even he don't know what industry is having. He has some industry now. He wants to get everything on the technical front for his company. Okay, let's say he's having a garment industry and he wants to get all of the employees, especially who are on the sales and marketing area, which are around 200 people, to get them on the technical front as in not to train them, but yeah, to get those machines, and machines should be on the centralized database, so that they can get the leads, and there should be automation that whenever a person is trying to visit any of the website, and if they look out for his garment, his product, automatically there should be a trigger coming to his sales guy, and stating that this product, so stating on the number of type of cloth which is being sold out. Based on that, his organization can get up some analytics, and using that analytics they can come up with the product type that they want to concentrate, which is the best performing, which is the least performing, and all those things. So he wants to get into this kind of area, and he wants to invest on it. So for this purpose, so Akhil is, let's say Akhil is a service provider. So Akhil has its own IT company. Okay, it's an a service related company. So he's providing everything. So he's taking care of the Azure. He's taking care of the AWS and all. So Akhil and uh, Laksh, they both met at certain point, via some references. So they call Laksh called me, and he asked me that, Dave, I need certain things. I'm planning for this kind of thing. So I said, like, okay, Akhil is the best person who can provide you this service, so you can reach out to him. And I referred him. Okay, so there was a reference, and then Akhil and Laksh, they started talking. Now over here, Akhil understood the whole infrastructure requirement, whole technological requirement for the 200 clients of Laksh company. Okay. So what Akhil proposed is that Laksh, instead of what we can do is you can host all the solutions, everything which is available. So cloud is offering you, Azure is offering you analytics, and the synaptics, and there are a lot of other tools which are there. Along with that, you can have the security front like Sentinel and all, which will help you to secure your environment. All these things are available. Okay, and you can go for it. So Laksh is like, okay, great, I will go. But Laksh has a hiccup over here. So Laksh is like, okay, for this, then I need to get a Azure certified guy. Okay, so he comes back to me. He says like, okay, Dave, I'm good with Akhil. Akhil has proposed this, and I want to go for it. So he says that, like, but I need to hire a guy. So what I propose to Laksh is that instead of you investing, ask Akhil to help you out with this particular. So he goes back to Akhil. Akhil is like, okay, let's I can propose one more solution to you. So let us go with the serverless architecture. So serverless, where I will be taking care of your whole servers, infrastructure, everything, and you just pay me for that. That's it. So that is serverless. Okay. So serverless, what Akhil is doing. Akhil is taking care of the whole infrastructure services, everything. You know, it's basically, Alakshya is just paying for that, management part. That's it. Okay. So Lakshya is no more into the infrastructure caring or processing or anything. Lakshya is just taking care of his own garment business. And whenever he wants to, get the data, he calls up and he gets the data and everything is moving smoothly. That is serverless, guys. And that's how, the real-time and deployment works. Clear?
Yes.
Great. How was the story? So no one is
Quite engaging.
quite engaging.
Hmm.
Abhishek said that, quite engaging.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Abhishek, I did not take up your name. Next time I will be taking it.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
please take his name too.
It was nice Laksh having a garment industry.
Oh, no, are you saying it on a sarcastic level, Abhishek? I feel
No,
like
no.
you don't
Of
like
course
it.
not. Of course not.
Yeah, Laksh, you can just see it, right? See,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I can feel something from you. Great. So Laksh is having a lot of industry right now, you know. So the name itself is Laksh.
Seems like
हर हर
industrialist.
हाल हर हाल में पाना है.
Yes. Yeah. What?
He's saying a dialect from the movie, the Hrithik Roshan one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great. Akhil is happy. Akhil has a company now. Akhil,
Yeah.
yeah, you never know. Akhil is running a company side by side. Okay. So I think the serverless function you have created, we are clear about that. It's more of an event driven model. Okay. So it's trying to, we are trying to drive an event, okay, for the customer. So instead of customer getting involved in the whole process and taking care of it, where they are not able to concentrate on their whole aspect. See, that is what our industry is all about. So our industry is here because people organizations, they don't want to get into that. So if tomorrow, if uh, let's say Barclays or any other organization, they are planning to get everything from outsource into their own sector, you can just imagine what kind of loss will be there for outsourcing clients, or here. So even the OEMs, they don't have everything in their bucket. They try to outsource it, whether it's via a partner or whether it is, that's how the industry works. So even on the infrastructure end, on the management end, the same concept. So serverless is one of that function. Okay. All right. So let me share the PPT, the most awaited one. Okay. So what is the purpose of this developing solution for Microsoft Azure, right? If not, then we'll discuss it in the next 15, 20 minutes. I'm sharing my screen again, the PPT. Just let me know once it is visible. Hmm. Is it visible now?
No, we can still see the notepad screen.
One minute, I'm resharing it. Now?
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
Oh,
it is visible.
okay. All right. So this is the official PPT. So whatever we are discussing is an official. Do not try to take screenshots. Okay. Do not avoid getting into the thing because this may land up in legal stuff. Okay. You will be getting notes and other stuff provided by me or by the organization. Okay. So anyway, this PPT is are of no use to you. Okay. And they are not developed by me. They are developed by Microsoft. Okay. So let's start with developing solution for Microsoft Azure. This is done, this is done, this you're not using. So if you want to use any of the service, you are good to go. Now, what is cloud developer role? Yeah, so Microsoft Azure developers, they design, build, test, and maintain cloud solutions. So like application services, partnering with cloud solution architects, cloud DBAs, cloud administrators. So you will hear a lot of cloud. Okay, and clients to implement the solutions. So basically, what we are actually trying to understand is how we can design a solution. Okay, so for designing a solution, we need to understand what are the mechanisms that we can use. Okay, that is what we can target. Now this course, as I told you, every course has a prerequisite. Okay, so there is a prerequisite for the course. So we I'm assuming, or Azure is assuming, or Microsoft is assuming that you have this knowledge. Okay. So C Sharp, .NET, HTML, any of this. Okay. And basic understanding of cloud concept and fundamentals. That's what I was talking about. Okay. So AZ 900 is the fundamental part. If you want to target for the fundamental part, you can look out for the AZ 900. That is the Azure fundamental course. And this is freely available. So this is a path for it. And you need to be, familiar with PowerShell. Do you guys know PowerShell? Any idea about PowerShell? PowerShell or not? Have you worked on it in your college life?
No.
No.
No problem. So we'll talk about that too. So PowerShell is a automation tool. It's like a command line tool. It's quite different than your CLI. Okay. And it is awesome tool. It's actually used normally for the automation purpose for running the script. So if you want to automate a job or a process, so PowerShell is one of the best tool that we can use on the Microsoft end. Okay. Now about this course outline, as we already discussed, so we have almost 12 modules, starting from this app services and all, and the authentication, API. We have seen all the things, right? Integration. So this is where we were talking about. So your course is somewhat modified as per the requirement, as per the project. This is a standard course that we are having. Okay, so we have this development. So if you're planning to give certification, so certification has a weightage. Okay, it has a weightage part and process. So we have total 5 different study areas. Each of them, they have a different weightage. Okay, so when we talk about weights, so that means the number of questions will be more from that particular weight. The more the weight, the number of questions are more from that study area. So you can see the initial part and the last part are having more weightage. Apart from that, the security has a more weightage, and then Azure storage and solutions, the monitoring part, they have almost same weightage. Okay, so when you're trying to go for a certification, plan and try to go as per the weights. Okay, as per the weightage of that area. Okay.
Hey, I had a question. Before this certification, do we need to have a certification in Azure Fundamentals as well?
Yeah, I was coming on that. So that's how the next part is. So here
Okay.
you have this process. So as I told you, what you're trying to do is on the intermediate level. It's not on the expert level. So we have 3 levels. One is 900, then developer, and then we have the expert level. So these are the 3 levels which are available. Okay. Now, answer to your question. So it totally depends on you. So Microsoft certifications are coming with advantage. So normally with any other certification, if you're going, they so there's a strict rule that you need to go for this certification first, and then you would be qualified for the next certification. So for example, if you go for networking or infrastructure certifications like Cisco and all, okay, in that, or in the development certifications, so they have a flow. But Microsoft certification, especially on any of the areas, what I have seen till now in the last, number of years I have worked, okay, all of them, they have, options. So if you are good with the knowledge of, let's say, on the fundamental part of Azure, there is no hard and fast rule that you need to clear it. You can directly jump on the, Azure Developer Associate. In fact, I have seen a lot of people, who have expert level of certification, but they are not, having any kind of fundamental or associate level certification. So they have completed their expert. Let's say, tomorrow, Abhishek or Akhil is planning to go for a certification. So Akhil can opt for expert level, instead of going for developer, associate, or fundamental, if he is prepared for it and if he knows that. Okay. Now, this normally is happening with the scenario of working professionals. So working professionals, they normally go for, certifications in order to showcase it, or, for the company's appraisal process or something like that. So a lot of people who are all highly experienced, they know the product very well. So they go for the Azure solution expert. But for a fresher, it is recommended, that it should have the fundamental, the prerequisite clear. So this will, because see, each of this paper, they have their own taste. So if we talk about AZ900, AZ900 is totally talking about, the cloud computing thing, and, all those products which are there. So whether you talk about compute, networking, storage, how the subscriptions are happening, what are the different subscription type, what is resource group, what are the, ways through which we can create. All those things have been covered in your AZ900 fundamental. So that will lay the foundation, to how to use the, the whole Azure area. So tomorrow, let's say if you are going and if you want to launch or create any application, or, you want to provision any machine, so you need to know how to do that, because it has a step. Okay. And you need to know the terms, like what is resource manager, what is region, okay, what is the area, what is the billing cycle. All these things are very important, because these are going to impact the production environment. So as a fresher, it is recommended to go for AZ900. Then after that, you can go for the development, or whatever certifications you're planning, you can go for that. That is how, it is recommended. Clear?
Okay, thanks.
No problem. All right, guys. So now I don't know which certification you're going to plan. Are you going to plan for 900 or directly for the developer? Which one?
Easy to not forward be better, I think so.
Why not 900? 900, do you know it? You know the fundamentals like resource group, all those things?
Y- Yeah,
Okay.
For me, I'm like bit comfortable with fundamentals, then developer.
Yeah, even I would have done that.
Same.
It will give me a lot of confidence, actually, at least, because 204 is like intermediate. It's advanced level. So if anything goes wrong, then these certifications, they have a cost. So I think it's around 4,800 or something like that in Indian rupees. Okay. So let's say, and they are all single attempt. So
yeah,
Microsoft certifications are the cheapest one. They are
y-
very, they're expensive, less expensive. Yeah, Laksh.
Yeah, there was also some student discount going on these certifications. I don't know why, as these are professional ones, the students don't require, but yeah, they were accepting some ID cards. And as the Microsoft has like declared now they are being only valid for 1 year. The previous month it was showing like it's valid for 2 years, and there was some special discounts for students too.
So Microsoft's yearly cycle starts from August.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the reason you will find most of the new products or new things coming in July, by July end or July first week, or by June first week. Okay. So they are mostly launched in that particular time period.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever you're planning for certification, so the certifications, they are, you know, actually getting validated. So you need to check two things. I don't know about student passes. So so you were in college and you got received the student stuff, but now it's not available anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It was only the one time option. We can also schedule it whenever, like whether you want in October or September. So there was an option coming for around 2 weeks, I think so. But now
Just
it's not there.
just check with your team, the one who has targeted the certification, when they want to do it. Like what is the expiry date of that, you know,
Okay.
link, voucher code.
Yeah.
Every voucher code they have you know expiry link.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's move ahead. I think we have a lot of discussion on this. So that's on the certification. I would suggest, like, if you are not good with the fundamental, please go for AZ 900 on the final part, and then go for Azure Developer Associate. But that's totally up to you. Okay. Now this is the passes. Anyway, that is a different thing. So that's about the whole process. Now let us start with the modules. Okay. Okay, now the first thing that we are going to discuss about is creating Azure App Service, okay, web app services. Okay. I assume that you are knowing what is resource group, what are the subscription models which are there in Azure, right? Are we aware about it? Anyone? Anyone who is having any challenge about that subscription part or anything, just let me know.
Actually, all of us were not able to. We're having some problem with the resources last Saturday when we checked.
Resource group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. I heard it in the morning itself. That. So, what was the challenge? Could you just highlight it?
Does anyone take screenshot last Saturday? Can you share?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Basically, Dev, it was like free server farms subscription was allowed only 10 for a particular area, region. So all of us, we were trying for East USA. So I guess that was a problem.
Okay. Just 1 minute, guys. East US. Okay.
If you want, I can share my screen and so it
Yeah, if
should,
you can do it, then it would be really great. Yeah.
yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. One
Yeah,
minute.
this was error.
Let me maximize it. Deployment name, Microsoft Web App, Web Portal. Okay. Status code. Okay. Mhm. This is a validation, means it did not get validated. So when you were creating the resource group, okay. So at that point of time, did you check any kind of basic challenges or anything which has come up? So you were trying to create a web app, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. East US is not a challenge over there. You can create web apps.
We could try now.
What is the subscription right now you're using? What's the type of subscription you're using?
Sandboxed.
Okay.
Is it, guys? Like, you can confirm it. I don't exactly remember.
Yeah,
No,
it's PSGH Operations Sandbox.
Yeah.
no, Sandbox. It's a name of that resource group which has been means this thing. You know, this
The name
area.
of the sub.
Actually, we are having they've role-based access control
Yeah,
permissions.
that's what I'm saying. RBAC.
Yeah, yeah, RBAC has been implemented, and we are having the sandbox in that subscription through
So that's
which
an
we are.
environment. That's an
Yeah,
environment
yeah,
which is
yeah, yeah,
provided to you.
yeah.
Okay. So it's a testing environment, more of a. All right. So this is okay. That's not a challenge. We'll check this thing. Thank you. Okay. So let's start understanding the things first, and then we'll jump on the labs. So we'll be going, in both the areas. So I hope you are aware about resource group. You are aware about subscription. What are the different types of subscription, and what are the different regions, right? Or you want me to take it from there too? How's it?
We can start from the top.
From the top?
Yeah, from everything from resource group.
Okay. So let's start with the top. Okay. So yeah. So Kshitija, right? It's
Yeah, yeah.
Kshitija. Kshitija. What do you mean by resource group?
Most likely, my understanding is a group where the resources that you will be needing are allocated.
Okay. So let's say if I'm saying instead of that, uh, you are trying to build a solution. Okay.
Hmm.
on the Azure. So you guys are trying to build a solution on Azure. Now, as you know, Azure is like a payment, stuff. Everything that you're using has a billing. Okay, there are certain services which are provided, but again, you're paying for it indirectly or indirect way. Okay, directly or indirect way. So, like VMs and all, when you're creating VMs, you are getting billed for that. If you're going for storage, you're getting billed for that. If you're opting out for license, you're billed for that. All those areas, networking, IP addresses, public IP addresses, everything has been built. Now, what is happening over here? When you're building a solution, so let's say there's a client which is coming to you and it is asking for, your help for hosting its web app services or, hosting the services. Okay. Now, while you're hosting this whole web app service, or when you're trying to build a solution, so you need to create a whole infra, okay, which consists of machine, then can be 2 or 3 machines. It can be a farm, and you can use container over there, or you can use different tools over there. Now, what is happening? This solution which you're targeting is built for one particular requirement. Now, when the billing happens, okay, now billing, when it is happening on a monthly basis, and when you're receiving the billing, when the department was taking care of, so for them it becomes very challenging, for which project or for which ask the billing is happening. So what they do is, in that scenario, they go for looking out for resource groups. What is resource group basically? So resource group provides us the option to club all the resources that we are targeting to build one solution. Whatever Azure solution you're trying to build, all that resources that we are targeting, they are grouped, or they are targeted, or they are clubbed into one particular resource group. Okay, or it can be multiple resource group depending on the region, depending on the requirement and use cases. Okay, that is the resource group for you. So it's like a collection of resources. Okay, resource group is nothing but a collection of resources which we are targeting for building the solution. What is the benefit? As we have already discussed, it will help you to handle the things like the scenarios. Okay, it will help you to handle the the process. Okay, the billing cycle and everything can be handled in a very streamlined way, and you would be able to take the things side in a very good way. Manage the things. If you want to add a resource in future, you can add that too. So all those things you can do it in a very easy way. Okay, and build a solution across it. That is the resource group. Okay, now resource group is one thing. Clear, guys? Resource group, what is the resource group and what is the use of it? So basically it's a collection of resource, and the purpose of it is nothing but to club it for the solution. So whenever we are designing a solution, we are using it. Now the next thing is, whenever you are trying to go for a resource, the next thing that you are going is for a subscription. You need to go for a subscription. So every time when you're building a solution, or when you're provisioning any kind of resource, or using any kind of resource, you need to look out for subscription. Now the question is, what are the different types of subscription? What exactly is subscription first? So subscription is basically a it is more of a environment. Okay, so let's say now Kshitija is from infrastructure team, or Laksh is taking care of, he's from infrastructure. So for him, the subscription will be more on the infra level, on the on the enterprise level. Whereas Abhishek, Akhil, Kshitija, Muskan, these guys, they will be more on the development level, on the development part. So their subscription will be on the development part. So this subscription is actually setting up what? It is setting up the environment to build a solution. So how many types of subscription do we have in Azure, guys? Any idea? What are the different subscriptions that we are having in Azure? Guys, I'm audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
audible.
Yes.
Yeah. Guys, just 1 minute. Yeah, sorry. Call. Yeah, tell me. So, see, you just try to understand in a logical way what could be the subscription model in Azure. What are the use cases where I'm going to use Azure? So, I would be using Azure for development part. So, there can be a subscription for development and testing, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then there would be a subscription, which is related to production, correct? Where you are having the whole production environment and all those things, where the live scenarios are happening, infrastructure development and all. And then there would be an enterprise agreement subscription, right? Enterprises where, like right now you are using enterprise agreement in which they have created one, resource management group for you. And they have allocated some particular sites or restriction where they have given you a rollback, the RBAC thing, okay? And you are able to access it. So it's like a whole environment. Within that, they have set a quota for you. Correct? So that's an enterprise agreement. Enterprise agreement has a lot of things, because see, a lot of, when you talk about organization, when they are moving from on-premises to cloud, okay, or when they are accessing the solutions. So these organizations, they are not new organizations. They are already paid for some of the other services which they are already using. So let's say there's an organization who has procured for Visual Studio, or there's an organization who has procured for, the services. Okay, so they have procured for services. Okay, now that Visual Studio license, if they want to use it on cloud, can it be used over there? So for that, there is an agreement. There is an enterprise agreement. There's a term called as software assurance and all, which are coming to picture. So depending on the requirement, organization, they can opt for the subscription models. So whether they want to go with enterprise, whether they want to go with the development testing, whether they want to go with the production or Visual Studio or free, whatever they want, or student that you were talking about, all of them. Clear? So subscription plays a very important role. So first is the subscription, the resource group, subscription, and then we have the region. Now, what is region, guys? What could be the region part?
Where the data centers are allocated.
Awesome. So region is nothing but the data center plan. So as we have discussed, Azure has 60 plus region all over the globe in all the regions, APAC, EMEA, and Americas. So depending on your requirement, you can go for a region. So let's say if an Indian client wants to go for select a region. So in India, they will try to look out for a region in India. Okay, so in India, there are 3 locations in which the data center is available. There are 3 regions basically: Central, Western, and South. So Western is your Navi Mumbai, then where the data center is located. Central is your Pune, and South is your Chennai. Okay, Chennai location. So based on that, the organizations, they can go for opting for resources, or they can go for the whole region part. So these are the 3 things that we are going to are important: resource group, region, and you know and the subscription part. These are the 3 things that normally organizations, or whenever you're building a solution in Azure, we are targeting. Got it?
Yeah.
So whether you're creating a VM, or whether you're creating a VNet, or whether you're creating an app service or web apps, everywhere you need to have this. Okay. These three things: resource group, region, and subscription. All right, guys. I hope we are clear now how Azure is working and how the things are there, and we have already been using it, but now we need to understand it with the perspective of project. Okay, how in a project we are going to target it. Okay, so this see when if you were on the if you are have been already working for almost, let's say, 2 years and 3 years, so I would have not been discussing this. So in that scenario we would be we would have been discussing more on the project perspective or project side or the use cases. But now as we are all new and we are trying to understand the things on this whole development and the project scenarios, so that is the reason we are trying to set the context or whatever things we are trying to understand, we are matching it with the project. So how the project will work, what are the things we are going to understand or not, that is what we need to do. Clear, guys? Okay, so what we'll do is let's go for a lunch break. Okay, and let's come back. So it's a 1 hour lunch break and we can join back. So it's around 1:10, I think 1:10 or 1:11. Okay, let's come back 2:10 or max by 2:15. Okay, 1 hour by. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would be dropping off and joining back. Okay.
Okay.